You wake up on the floor of a trashed hostel room. You don't know your name, you don't know your face. You don't even know what a face is supposed to feel like. There's a dead body hanging outside, a city rotting quietly around you, a badge that says you're meant to solve this. The only thing that speaks to you is your own mind, fractured, competing, contradicting itself. Disco Elysium begins with a question most stories are afraid to ask. What happens when adulthood fails so completely that the only way forward is to start over? Harry Dubois is a 50-year-old, drug addicted alcoholic police officer. He's meant to solve a murder, but he can't remember his own name. This isn't incompetence, it's erasure. The amnesia doesn't take just his memories, it strips him of narrative, of context, of the story he was telling himself about who he is. And without that story, Harry becomes functional in a new way. He has to relearn everything. What money is, what a tie means, what the sound of running water implies, not metaphorically, but literally. This isn't regression, it's a second childhood. Not the romantic kind, but the terrifying one. The kind where you don't know if you were kind or cruel, if the life you lived deserves to be remembered or quietly buried. Disco Elysium does something almost cruelly honest. It lets you hear yourself think, not as a single voice, but as a committee. Logic, empathy, authority, drama, physical instrument, electrochemistry. Logic wants coherence, empathy wants connection, authority wants control, drama wants meaning, electrochemistry wants relief. None of them are wrong, none of them are whole. Harry doesn't control these voices. He learns their tone, their timing, their cost. Like a child learning which instincts to trust and which ones lead to harm. Mechanically, the game asks you to invest in parts of yourself. You don't level up skills, you deepen dispositions. Raise logic and the world sharpens into patterns. Raise empathy and every interaction begins to ache. Raise authority and people listen, sometimes out of fear. These aren't statistics, they're lenses. They don't make you stronger, they make you someone. Harry isn't being rebuilt into a better man. He's being assembled piece by piece into a new one. Then come beliefs. Communism, fascism, moralism, and ultra-liberalism. The game doesn't frame them as answers, it frames them as responses. Each belief offers structure, each one offers meaning, each one asks for something in return. Communism gives you solidarity and rage. Fascism gives you certainty and cruelty. Moralism gives you rules and paralysis. Disco Elysium never tells you which belief is correct. It only shows you what they do to you. In a second childhood, beliefs aren't ideologies, they're scaffolding, temporary support for a self that hasn't hardened yet. Harry Dubois is 50. He's lived long enough to have failed thoroughly. Whatever he was before the blackout could not survive, so the amnesia isn't mercy, it's necessity. It gives him what most adults never receive, a legitimate reset. Not redemption, not absolution, just the terrifying freedom of choosing again. Harry isn't becoming young, he's becoming unfixed. Disco Elysium is not optimistic. The city is decaying, the systems are broken. The case you're solving won't save anyone, but it is hopeful in a quieter way. Because if someone this ruined can still assemble a self from the rubble of his own mind, then maybe hope isn't about fixing things. Maybe it's about continuing without lying to yourself. At its core, Disco Elysium is about learning how to listen inwardly, not to silence the voices, not to unify them, but to recognize when each one speaks and why. The game doesn't ask you to become coherent, it asks you to become aware, to understand that contradiction isn't failure, it's condition. Most people never get a second childhood. Our identities calcify, our habits harden. We keep becoming who we already are. Harry gets another chance because everything collapses. And in that collapse, he finds something rare: choice. Not the choice to be good, not the choice to be redeemed, just the choice to not repeat himself. We're not amnesiacs. We remember our names, our faces, and our histories. And that makes starting over harder. Harry Dubois isn't a role model, he's a mirror. He shows what becomes possible when identity stops pretending it's permanent, when adulthood admits it's failed and makes room for something unfinished. Disco Elysium is about a man who lost everything, and in losing it, discovered that identity is not something you recover, it's something you keep choosing. Not once, not cleanly, but moment by moment, listening, misstepping, and trying again. That's not redemption, that's a second childhood. And it's far more dangerous and honest than growing up ever was.